Today, we're diving into a story from the world of fintech that is, well, just totally fascinating and a bit of a paradox. We're talking about Genius Bank, a digital bank that seemed to do everything right, and then poof, it was gone. So at the heart of this whole thing is Genius Bank. You look at them and they've got all the markings of a cool new fintech. But here's the twist. This wasn't some startup in a garage. Nope. This was a digital division of SMBC Monubank, a real heavyweight in the traditional banking world. And that connection to a huge established bank is what makes this question so weird. How on earth does a project with that kind of serious backing attract $1 billion in deposits in record time and then have the plug pulled? That's the mystery we're going to unpack right now. To really get why it all ended, we have to go back to the beginning, how Genius Bank was even built. You got to understand, this wasn't some small side project. It was a massive billion-dollar bet on what the future of banking could look like. So the key thing to get here is that Genius wasn't its own standalone bank. It was what the industry calls a sidecar, basically a new, speedy digital operation bolted onto an old-school institution. And its parent company, SMBC Monubank, has been around since 1962. So Genius had like the best of both worlds, the rock-solid stability of an old bank, but the freedom and agility of a brand new one. And because they were this sidecar, the team at Genius had a huge advantage. They basically got to start with, as they put it, a blank sheet of paper. They could completely rethink how a bank should be built for today's world. I mean, just think about the difference for a second. Old school banks are often just weighed down by all their physical branches and these clunky, ancient computer servers in a back room somewhere. Genius, on the other hand, was built for right now. No branches at all and completely cloud native. All of its tech lived online, which made it super fast, flexible, and ready to scale from day one. And the tech behind this was all about speed and making your life easier. It was mobile first, totally paperless, and used some pretty powerful data aggregation. This meant they could give you a true 360-degree view of all your money by linking your other accounts. It was almost like having a little AI in your pocket, giving you smarter insights. Now, all this modern tech wasn't just for show. It allowed Genius Bank to do something that just stunned the industry, grow at a, frankly, explosive pace. Let's just look at the numbers for a second, because they are absolutely staggering. In deposits alone, they pulled in a massive $1 billion. And get this, they did it in just 7 months. That's a speed that's pretty much unheard of in the super cautious world of banking. And at the same time, they weren't just sitting on all that cash. They originated over $700 million in personal loans. They were a full-blown, high-velocity banking machine. So, how'd they do it? Well, their strategy was just brilliantly simple and perfect for the internet age. First, they offered a killer high-yield savings rate to get money in the door. Then, instead of spending a fortune on marketing or branches, they basically rented distribution. They got customers from comparison sites like NerdWallet and gave out loans on marketplaces like Credit Karma, where people were already shopping. So smart. But, a high interest rate only gets you so far. The appeal of Genius went way deeper than that. They were selling a promise of a better, smarter way to handle your money. This was their slogan right here, and it was at the very heart of their brand. They wanted to make digital banking feel more human, less like a cold transaction and more like a partner helping you out. And they really backed up that promise. Of course, the high savings rate was there, but they also had no fees, 24/7 support right here in the US, and that awesome Genius View feature, which gave you personalized insights. It was a really compelling package. So, let's recap. You've got a modern tech stack, a brilliant strategy, insane growth, and customers who seem to love the product. This thing should be a massive success story, right? Well, this is where the paradox really kicks in. The story takes a sudden, really shocking turn. I mean, this timeline says it all. It shows just how fast everything happened and how quickly it all ended. They launched loans in July 2023, savings in November. By May 2024, they're celebrating hitting $1 billion in deposits. And then, just a few months later, the parent company announces they're shutting it down. Their greatest achievement and their death sentence arrived almost at the exact same time. It's wild. So what on earth happened? Well, from what we can tell, it sounds like a classic culture clash. See, for a fintech like Genius, explosive growth and getting $1 billion in deposits is success. That's the main goal. But for a huge legacy bank, The only metric that really truly matters is a clear, steady path to profit. So, despite the incredible numbers, Genius probably just wasn't on track to hit the financial targets its parent company needed, or it just didn't fit their conservative, long-term strategy anymore. And that leaves us with this final, really important question. The story of Genius Bank kind of forces us to rethink what success even looks like in this space. It proves you can build an amazing product that people love, grow faster than anyone imagined, and still be seen as a failure by the people signing the checks. It really makes you wonder, in this high-stakes game between agile fintechs and their legacy parents, is explosive growth the goal, or is it actually a warning sign of a culture clash that just can't last?